All right, all right. What's going on? What's going on? Happy Friday, IOBA. My name is TC. So, check this out. Just before the elections, um, I was talking about whether or not I wanted a Republican or a Democrat to control the country as it pertains to how we as black people can benefit or not benefit. And my thing was this: when Republicans get in office, black people tend to unify because Republicans like to make black people into their enemy, like they're doing right now. I mean, you can see that in how they're so scared of us until they would import some real goddamn professional, lifelong racists all the way from South Africa to start planting a new kind of racism in the country. But anyway, I had said that black people unify because they know the Republicans don't give a fuck about us, right? We know the Republicans don't really give a fuck about us. Some people use that as an excuse to not ask them for anything, but I don't know. I think it's a good negotiating tool when they get in office. Ask them for shit too, just so they can't say we didn't. Anyway, black people right now are in that unification stage. I think the early stages of it, of that unification. You dig me? Um, for example, uh, that brother Rodney Henson, was in the elevator right after his court appearance. For one thing, they ring the whole courtroom with cops. They do that shit all the time. I don't know if that they call it support or whatever, but it's really an intimidation tactic. They ring the whole courtroom with cops. You know, the brother walked out with his head up, and they had a black woman officer leading him out. I like how she handled him. Actually, I was watching her. I know what the white boys and the white women think, but I was watching her. She walked him on out. Apparently, he was in the elevator. Next time I saw him, he was in the elevator. And apparently, a black cop at just the right time stepped onto the elevator with Mr. Hinton and the other officers, effectively saving his life. Because there's been many times when that's the last time you see the black man, is when they left alone with a bunch of angry white officers. So the brother stepped in. So these types of things, these little passive aggressive steps that we black people are taking in the beginning are just kind of knee-jerk reactions to the racism we see. The more racist this country gets, the more we realize we all we got. At the end of the day, none of these white folks give a fuck about us whether we in uniform or out of uniform. They really don't. They're trying to whitewash this whole fucking place. We, especially black people who remember the 1990s, know how to unify. But this time we got to do it quietly and by degrees. And this time we can't let it go and relax when we get another Democratic administration. But we cannot, some of the things we can't do, I think anyway, is we gotta stop criticizing each other so much, especially in mixed company. Even if you don't agree with somebody, you know what I'm saying? Even if there's a politician out there that calls themselves, a member of your party, but you don't quite align with their policies and the way they go about doing things, but they happen to be on the right side on the surface anyway. For example, if you're a Democrat and your Democrat likes some of the things that you like, but they're a little corporate or they're a little follow the leader-ish. Well, if they black and they in the face of these white folks fighting them tooth and nail, and they taking the slings and arrows of that goddamn racism, well, then I'm going to throw my support behind them because I don't agree with nobody 100%. Now, specifically, I'm talking about what's the young lady name from Texas? Jasmine Crockett. I made a video a long time ago when I first heard of her, and I said she sounded corporate. Then she hit him with that bad built, bleach blonde, butch body comment, and that told me she had the right kind of attitude to get down and dirty with these assholes. The principal I work for is like that. Shout out Miss Petite. Anyway, I don't agree with everything Jasmine Crockett says. I think she should go a little bit more to the left. Yeah, I think she should go a little bit more to the left, but she on the right track. I ain't gonna try to give Jasmine Crockett no advice as to where I think she should go because it seemed like to me she handling it. But you know me, I'm a fucking democratic socialist, so I'm way to the left. I believe in free stuff, as people like to call it. But I ain't gonna never criticize her in public or on video. However, somebody like Byron Donalds, the sellout, the bootlick, and Tim Scott, we just love you. That motherfucker, I criticize them too on video, but only about their politics. Maybe Byron Donalds, I might go in a little beyond politics with him. But anyway, y'all get what I'm saying. I'm not going to criticize Jasmine Crockett. Just like I don't criticize somebody like Nina Turner. I don't criticize, what's his name, Jamal Bowman. I don't criticize these black politicians. Because, they Democrats. And they're a little bit closer to my politics than them fucking Republicans and them MAGAs and shit. And them rednecks and peckerwoods and shit are. You feel me? And that's that black unity. These are the seeds of the new black unification that's happening right now at the beginning of the Trump administration. By the time this motherfucker leave office, whether he get voted out, whether he get kicked out, or however he leave office, by the time he leave, we should be one solid motherfucking voting block who knows what we want and how to ask for it and how to get it. That's where I'm at. And we should be unified and we should be black first. We gotta be black first. We gotta go back to that red, black, green, and gold attitude. We really do. Because that's what works. That's what works. Because shit gonna get bad before it gets better. I even think that young brothers coming up out of high school, young athletes and sisters coming up out of high school, black, should adopt a black first attitude. They should be taught that shit by our black coaches. Because, for one thing, I always said this shit too. The athletes and entertainers, maybe not so much entertainers, but definitely athletes, hold so much power if they just know how to control it, how to contain it, how to unify it, and how to put that power and move it in the right direction. For example, y'all already know Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest athletes in the world. And y'all already know when Ali was a young man and could speak, when Ali was a young man and could speak, white folks hated him for what he represented, for who he was, for the fact that he didn't give a fuck whether he had that money or not. He was going to say what he was going to say, and he was going to be who he was going to be. He was going to be, and he was pro-black down the, well, y'all, it's Muhammad Ali. Go check his old shit out. Those are the kind of athletes we need to be bringing up now. Those are, I don't know what Deion Sanders' sons' politics are, but they need to be going in that direction. Both of his sons, all these, they need to start teaching their kids that. Because that's one of the ways that you can get the politics to change. You really can. People don't believe that shit, but you really can. Now I know y'all, they made a example out of Colin Kaepernick. But if enough motherfuckers get to start developing that attitude early enough, saying like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, they get real black history classes and taught some, knowledge of self classes. That sounds a little hotep right there, but I'm just saying that's what's needed at a very early age, just to plant that seed in their head and let them know that when you get to a certain level, not only, when you get to a certain level, you can, hey, can I have these books put back in the schools, or make public service announcements, for black people and black causes. Ain't nothing wrong with being pro-black now, because everybody, they say it ain't nothing wrong with being pro-white. They're bringing new white folks in, so I guess it's okay to differentiate yourself now. And they're kicking everybody else the fuck out. Any allies that we might have had, which we never got, by the way, but any allies that we might have had, they're all getting kicked out of the country. At the end of the day, like I said before, we the ones that can't just kick out the fucking country. We got to form a strong ass unit, and I see it coming. I see it coming. But I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna move on. We got a little momentum going. We got to get on code and stay on code. Well, what is the code? Everybody knows what the code is. It's instinctual, really. And that's the way you fight this fight. Some things you are troubling, but they ain't worth going into the streets for. But they do have to be addressed. Some things ain't worth going into the streets for, but they really do have to be addressed. Just remember that. Shout out to my man Rodney Hinton and the cop who saved his life. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out. Come back and listen to me talk my shit. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.